One of my favorite features when it comes to the Batman Arkham series is the side missions. I love how even when you're taking a break from the main story and just exploring the open world, you will find plenty to still see and do, whether it's collecting Riddler trophies or finding a villain who wasn't used in the main story who has a scheme that you have to thwart. These missable collectibles and encounters make the open world feel so much more rich, and they make the story feel more alive. It feels more fun to go up against these characters when it feels like they are actively trying to put challenges and obstacles in your path. It also really helps that most of these side missions do not take a hit when it comes to production value in comparison to the main story. Most of the encounters with these cameo characters and side characters are every bit as exciting and well produced as the encounters of the main story. Today I'd like to go through my 5 favorite side missions of the Batman Arkham series that I thought really added to the world and lore and overall experience. But before I dive into my list, I'd love to hear yours. As you're listening, feel free to comment below your top 5 Arkham side missions. Also, please consider subscribing and leaving a like if you enjoy the video, but without any further ado, let's get right into it. Starting in at number 5, I have the Riddler's Revenge from Batman Arkham Knight. I'm sure some of you are shocked that I even have this on my top 5. I'm sure some of you wish it was higher. This is a character that some people really enjoy the inclusion of and some people utterly despise. Personally, I love the balance that Rocksteady found. They included these puzzles and challenges that some players really like to solve, but for those who don't care for them, they're not mandatory. You can complete the campaigns without finding the Riddler trophies or solving the riddles. As far as the actual content goes, I do like finding the Riddler trophies. I like solving the puzzles to get to them. They are a pretty high quality collectible in an open world game. Even better than that is the scannable riddles that you can find out in the open world. It allowed Rocksteady to include so many Easter eggs for you to find because you'll get a reference to a character that doesn't appear in the game, like the Great White Shark in Arkham Asylum, and you can go and find a reference to that character. These Easter eggs make the world feel so open, and it makes it feel very lived in, like there's a lot of characters who aren't showing up in the stories that do exist in the world. Maxie Zeus, for example, is a character who has a pretty strong presence in the Arkham series despite never once making a physical appearance. Similarly, the ventriloquist and Scarface didn't show up until Batman Arkham Shadow, but well before that in Arkham Asylum and City, they had a strong presence in the series as well. In Arkham Asylum, Riddler was really just used as the collectibles for the game, and in Arkham City, they started adding a bit of a story for him. He kidnapped the medical team of Arkham City, and you had to go and rescue them from these Riddler rooms, and that was pretty fun. But Batman Arkham Knight really kicked it into gear with a plot that felt far more personal to Batman. Riddler has kidnapped Catwoman and put a bomb around her neck and stuck her in an abandoned orphanage, and you have to solve puzzles in order to disarm this bomb. It allows for some great dual play opportunities with Catwoman. It feels the most story-driven that the Riddler has ever been in this series, and it has the best balance of story to collectibles. As fun as the Arkham City Riddler side mission was, it was a little bit overbearing with just how many challenges you had to solve. I believe it was 400 before you could complete the side mission, and there were 440 total, whereas in Batman Arkham Knight, there's only 243. The quality of the challenges in Arkham Knight is definitely the highest. The only thing that I'm not too keen on is how often you're asked to use the Batmobile to solve some of the riddles, but even there, I don't think it is too much. I think there's a strong balance in how many you have to do in the Batmobile versus outside of the Batmobile. And overall, this was just a really nice, lengthy side mission with one of the few boss fights at the end and a truly emotional moment between Batman and Catwoman that I cannot believe was excluded from the main story. It gives so much insight and character development. It's a really touching scene that I think more people should see. At number 4, I have Mad Hatter's side mission in Batman Arkham Origins. This is a one-off side mission with only a single objective point where you go to the hat shop in order to rescue a kidnapped girl, only for the Mad Hatter to hypnotize you and take you to Wonderland. This is one of those side missions that isn't so much an extension of the main story as it is just a full-on side mission. It's something that's happening adjacent to the main story that you can just go do on your own time, and I think it's perfect. It provides a different experience from the rest of the game. Aesthetically, Wonderland looks much different than the rest of Gotham City. I really appreciated the attention to detail here, but I also appreciate that it didn't outstay its welcome. It's just a few minutes that ask you to navigate through a really cool cool environments, and it culminates in an easy takedown on the Mad Hatter, which isn't really surprising. He's not a particularly strong physical threat to Batman, but I loved the dark undertones that this side mission brought. It's a surprisingly nuanced perspective on someone like the Mad Hatter, who's a manipulator. You have this really beautiful looking wonderland, but just beneath the surface is this really sinister vibe. Overall, I'd say that this is one of the creepiest missions of the Arkham series post Arkham Asylum, so it's at number 4 for me. At number 3, I have the Cold Call Killer from Arkham City, the Victor Zsasz side mission. What sets Victor Zsasz apart for me is how his side mission is initiated. You have to listen for ringing phones. You go and answer the phone, and you have to play a twisted game where Victor Zsasz will start ringing another phone somewhere else in the city that you have to go find before the time runs out and he kills a hostage. Batman is not able to immediately triangulate Victor Zsasz's position, so he has no choice but to listen to these deeply disturbing phone calls where Victor Zsasz tells his origin story. The actor who plays Victor Zsasz is so good at delivering these lines, and his story is so dark and interesting to listen to that even on my, 6,000th playthrough of the game, I still find myself listening to Victor Zsasz's story. It's cool to see a mission that Batman's on where he has to keep a cool head, where he can't immediately go confront the villain. He has to wait and be patient until he can crack the case. When he finally does and has the opportunity to confront Victor Zsasz, I thought that it was a really interesting and tense level dungeon that you have to go through. It's brief and pretty simple, but I did appreciate how creepy it felt. It did feel like an environment that Victor Zsasz would inhabit. This is one of those side missions that feels so dynamic. It doesn't feel scripted. It feels like you're really going up against a serial killer, and that makes it such an unnerving thing to do. Victor Zsasz doesn't have superpowers, just weird ideologies which many people in the real world have. This feels like one of the most realistic Batman villains of the entire Arkham series, and it's cool that they found a grounded way to integrate him into the world of Arkham City. At number 2, I have In From the Cold, the Mr. Freeze side mission of Batman Arkham Knight. Now, this was part of the Seasons of Infamy DLC, and to be totally fair, all of these side missions that came with Seasons of Infamy were really good. Personally, I think there's 2 things that give Mr. Freeze the edge in Arkham Knight over Killer Croc, Mad Hatter, and Ra's al Ghul. The first is just the overall variety when it comes to the gameplay of this side mission. There are 2 very difficult Predator encounters, there's a great combat encounter, there's some interesting racing that you get to do with the Batmobile through a snowy Gotham City, and there's a decent tank fight at the end of it. The other thing that really sets this side mission apart as one of the best in the entire series is the story. This is such a great conclusion to Mr. Freeze's character arc, and honestly, outside of Joker, I'd say that Mr. Freeze might be the strongest Arkhamverse villain. This guy got a DLC in Arkham Origins that gave him a great setup and took us through his origin story. He had a great arc and boss fight in Arkham City, and in Arkham Knight, the Season of Infamy In From the Cold side mission gave us a great send-off. It's one of the most emotional moments in the story to see Nora wake up and Mr. Freeze finally let go of trying to save her, and he finds a little bit of redemption in spite of all the things he's done. When I played In From the Cold for the first time, I was definitely surprised at just how poignant and compelling it was. It was such a simple story, but it had some great gameplay and a really emotional final beat. Now, before I got to number 1, I was going to list some honorable mentions, but there's honestly just too many. Anarchy's great, Shiva's great, Deadshot's great. There's so many great side missions of the Arkham series. Again, I'd love to hear your top 5, and if this video does well, maybe I'll rank all the side missions, but let's get to my favorites. I'm going to put Arkham City's Identity Thief side mission at number 1. And this is probably not going to be most people's top pick, but I'll explain why. First of all, just the premise. Someone is literally skinning people's faces and leaving them in alleys. That is such a cool setup. It also feels like the most slice of life side mission to me. This feels like a case that Batman could be trying to solve on any given night. This doesn't feel specifically tied into Arkham City. It feels far more simple and in some ways far lower key. Don't get me wrong, people are dying. Batman is trying to stop a serial killer, but this isn't like Hugo Strange who's trying to mass murder every criminal in Gotham City. In Rocksteady's trilogy, Batman is already aware of most of his rogues gallery and has gone up against most of them at some point. So, for example, when he runs into Penguin or Catwoman or Mr. Freeze, he's already dealt with them and already had experiences with them, whereas with Hush in Arkham City, it's his first encounter. I like that they frame it as a smaller threat that could eventually become a threat as big as Joker or Bane or Scarecrow, but for now it's just a character planting the seeds of a potential much larger future encounter. It works very well as a standalone plot thread to follow, and like I mentioned earlier, it feels very slice of life. This just feels like something that would be going on any night in Gotham City that Batman is trying to solve. It's also so cool beyond words to me that Batman doesn't win this side mission. Hush is able to escape and is teased as a greater threat for later. Now, I'm going to be talking about the Hush side mission of Arkham Knight in the 5 worst Arkham side missions video. But on its own, the Identity Thief side mission of Arkham City is so creepy, so cool, and feels distinct from pretty much every other side mission to me. I like that this whole side mission is just based on detective work. There's not really any combat or stealth. You're just trying to solve a crime. The payoff that Hush selected his victims in advance and skinned their faces because he could use them to graft a replica of Bruce Wayne's face onto his own was so cool and had so much potential. Once again, it was wasted, and we'll talk about that in my next video. But overall, this is just the most memorable side mission for me. It just sticks out to me as the one that really kept me on the edge of my seat. I wanted to see what the payoff would be, and I liked that it felt different from all the other side missions of the series. With all that being said, once again, I'd like to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite side missions of the Batman Arkham series are. I'm going to do a 5 worst side missions of the Arkham series, the ones that I just really think didn't hit the mark next. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.